Did you see the 9-year-old boxing match? I did. I saw the poster for the boxing match between the two 9-year-olds. I got to be honest with you. Maybe you say this is like not something I should comment on. It looks like the kid on the right is in for a long day. I was going to say night, but I imagine that's because they're 9. They probably start the fight at like 11 a.m. Kid on the left looked lean and mean. Kid on the right does not look like he has been taking his training as seriously. What are you talking about? There was a poster that went viral for a boxing match between two 9-year-olds in South Carolina. Maybe North Carolina. I was going to say which one's the bad Carolina. Oh, that would be a good one to get Chad started on. Both of them. Listen, I think both Carolinas are pretty close, right? We all know there's a bad Virginia. Sorry. I shouldn't say a bad. I should say a worse. They could both be bad. I can't stop looking at this poster. Tell me I'm crazy, right? I mean, if you were a betting man, who would you bet on in that boxing match? Kid on the left or kid on the right? Kid on the left is screwed. Kid on the right has murder eyes. I would bet on Child Protective Services stepping in. Maybe this is a controversial take. I mean, I'm not sure that 9-year-olds should be fighting each other. But like, as long as they're wearing like proper equipment and they've got like a medic on hand and stuff, like it's just amateur boxing, right? Like for adults' entertainment. What are you saying? Well, like if two 16-year-olds were boxing and they build it as like an amateur boxing match, people would be like, oh, that's good. They're putting their, their teenage time into something productive. That's like, I mean, I was going to say it's good for them, but it's like, it's good for their fitness. It maybe is bad for them if they get injured, but yeah, but 9-year-old kids are playing football and stuff like that. I'm not saying that kids should be fighting each other in backyard brawls. I guess all I'm saying is, when can a kid start to box in like in a safe environment? Don't say never. We live in the real world. People will be like, never. By the way, did you watch the streamers kick the shit out of each other in the chess boxing event? That's different. They're adults and they had training. Yeah, they had like 3 weeks of training. You saw, I'm not saying I would do any better. I'm just saying it takes a little longer than that to really, get the impulse to constantly keep your hands up. I was going to say you wouldn't catch me getting concussed by a 9-year-old. That's all I'm saying. No shot. Cat Williams. Cat Williams would be like, there's no shot I'm getting concussed by a 9-year-old. Hey. Those kids were not 9 and they jumped him. It's like because Twitter thinks I'm super into the NBA, which I am now. There'll always be like those engagement farmers who are like, okay, if you can score a bucket on a 5th grader, you get $1 million. On an 8th grader, you get $5 million. On a high schooler, you get $10 million. On a Division I NCAA basketball player, you get $50 million. On an NBA player, you get $100 million. On prime Kobe, you get $500 million. Who you taking? I believe I could probably score a bucket on the best 5th grade basketball player in America. But I will say, I do think it might be close. Because you will always see like it'll be like, hey, check out this 5th grader in Wyoming. And he's like 6'4". And like he literally just goes and stands under the basket. And then the team of like dudes that are half his height just heave him the ball. And he just goes like, and the score is like 90-4. But I still think with an adult male physique, I could take him in basketball. I'm gonna have a speed advantage. I'm gonna have a stamina advantage. I'm gonna have a musculature advantage. Here's the thing. I just say, listen, if you're 6'4" in the 5th grade, what are you gonna be? You're gonna be like 6'4", 110 pounds. I'm just backing you up to the basket. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I've got a grown man's lower body. If I dribble and I start pushing it back, you're not stopping me. You simply don't have the force to stop me from just constantly moving it back. And then I back you up, I back you up, I back you up. Fake cross, layup. Let's be honest, I'm not hitting the jumper on this kid. 8th grader, no chance. No shot. I would not risk going up against the best 8th grader in America in basketball. He would torch me. But 5th grader, I think we could have a game. They're gonna move around you, hit it out of your hands. It's not gonna go down like that, honestly. I know because when you think back to when you were a kid, you were like, oh, I ran around all the time. But like when you're prepubescent, like that's a child's musculature. A relatively normal adult versus a 5th grade kid in the 100-meter dash, you better torch them. You got so many advantages. Can somebody look up the American record for a 5th grader in the 100-meter dash? It's not even, I would absolutely torch the average 5th grader. If it was average, I would go up against the average 8th grader, and I think I would beat them in basketball. Because I was the average 8th grader. But if we're talking about the best in the country, I could have a chance against the best 5th grader. 12.81 seconds. Holy cow, that kid's fast as fuck, bro. All right, how about like 9-year-olds? How about what's the fastest a 9-year-old's ever run the 100-meter dash? That's fast as hell. Holy cow. 12.82? What the hell? These kids were not running 12.8s when I was in the 5th grade. It was like an 18-second 100-meter dash. What are they feeding these kids? This is crazy. Okay, how about now that you've looked that up, can you look up average 34-year-old adult 100-meter dash? I truly have no concept of how fast I could run a 100-meter dash. It's not going to be world record, so that'll be our lower bound. An average man, the average man jogging speed. This is a 100-meter dash. It's not a 100-meter jog. 15 seconds? Okay, can you Google above average 34-year-old man 100-meter dash? You're not above average? Have you seen adults? I'm definitely an above average sprinter for a 34-year-old man. The average 34-year-old man in North America wears a silk button-up tucked into chinos, and the silk button-up has short sleeves. There's no, I'm not saying I'm an elite sprinter. I'm saying I think I beat the average. Plus, I already walk on my toes. Toe walking is the ideal gait for running. It's one of the few advantages that toe walkers have. I'm telling you that's true. I'm not saying that means that I'm an elite sprinter. I'm just saying there's one built-in advantage. A non-elite athlete can run 100 meters in 13 to 14 seconds. However, Olympic qualifying times are much lower. Oh, well, okay, I believe that. 13 to 14 seconds. If we're playing 21, I'm beating the best 5th grader in America. Well, let's be honest. Okay, am I beating the best 4th grader in America? You already know my position. It's laughable to think that I would lose to the best 2nd grader in America. That's a little kid. They're like 3 feet tall. They can't do the 7-year-olds. They dribble like up here. They dribble like Timothy Chalamet. I'm not insanely good at basketball, but there's no shot I'm losing to a kid that's dribbling like this. Okay, so 2nd grade, I'm crushing them. 3rd grade, I still think I clear them easy. 4th grade, maybe we start to have like a competition. 5th grade, I think they're starting to get some skills. Like a 5th grader that's wearing normal clothes, I clear him easy. A 5th grader that goes to school in a basketball jersey every day, that might be a little tougher. Because their whole life is ball. But look up highlights from the best 5th grader in America. Yeah, but is there a highlight of them playing against an average 34-year-old man? Because that's really what I need to see. Like, I don't want to see a 5th grader going up against other 5th graders and just, like, killing them. I want to see a 5th grader, like, playing ball against their dad, assuming that he's not LeBron James. Are we calling fouls? Well, here's the thing. I'm, like, an old-school NBA fan, you know, from, like, the Pistons era, when Dennis Rodman was still called the Worm before he got into politics. So, of course, I mean, I'm going to be eating glass. Best fifth grader in the country right now is Mason Broyles, and NL clears him easy. Let's go. You're over, Mason Broyles. At the 2031 NBA draft, I'm gonna clear you. Well, no, but right now I'm ahead of you in the prospect list. In 2031, you'll probably be ranked higher than me if I had to guess. But it's all politics anyway. Dude, you know what would be really funny? Not for the kids, it would probably like mess up their self-esteem. But like in every sporting event for like elementary school students, they should line up like 7 sprinters in the lane, and then the 8th lane should just be like the social studies teacher. Just to give the audience a comparison of like how fast the kids actually are. Because I think that like, I think it would be funny to see how they fared against like Miss Jenkins, who just like goes to a couple Pilates classes a month and otherwise is too swamped just trying to keep like her life in order. A reality check lane. Yeah, like the same way, you know, when Roman generals came back from successful war campaigns and they had a triumph, they had the people whispering in their ear. Could be like that. It could be like, you're not that fast. You're not that fast. I'm not even a runner. I'm fucking crushing you. I just beat you by 2 seconds. You counter my ice block? Somebody's tag has countered my ice block. Somebody's trap card has countered my ice block. Guess they just countered my ice block. Oh yeah.